tried. Make sure we don't cross paths again. Galbatorix will have me swear additional oaths in the ancient language that will prevent me from showing you such mercy when we next meet. He lowered his sword. You're doing the right thing, said Eragon. He tried to step back, but was still held in place. Perhaps. But before I let you go, reaching out, Murtagh pried Zarok from Eragon's fist and unbuckled Zarok's red sheath from the belt of Beloth the Wise. If I have become my father, then I will have my father's blade. Thorn is my dragon, and a thorn he shall be to all our enemies. It is only right, then, that I should also wield the sword Misery. Misery and thorn. A fit match. Besides, Zarok should have gone to Morzan's eldest son, not his youngest. It is mine by right of birth. A cold pit formed in Eragon's stomach. It can't be. A cruel smile appeared on Murtagh's face. I never told you my mother's name, did I? And you never told me yours. I'll say it now. Selena. Selena was my mother, and your mother. Morzan was our father. The twins figured out the connection when they were digging around in your head. Galbatorix was quite interested to learn that particular piece of information. You're lying, cried Eragon. He could not bear the thought of being Morzan's son. Did Bronn know? Does Aramis know? Why didn't they tell me? He remembered then Angela predicting that someone in his family would betray him. She was right. Murtagh merely shook his head and repeated his words in the ancient language, then put his lips to Eragon's ear and whispered, You and I, we are the same Eragon. Mirror images of one another. You can't deny it. You're wrong, growled Eragon, struggling against the spell. We're nothing alike. I don't have a scar on my back anymore. Murtagh recoiled as if he had been stung, his face going hard and cold. He lifted Zarok and held it upright before his chest. So be it. I take my inheritance from you, brother. Farewell. Then he retrieved his helm from the ground and pulled himself onto Thorn. Not once did he look at Eragon as the dragon crouched, raised its wings, and flew off the plateau and into the north. Only after Thorn vanished below the horizon did the web of magic release Saphira and Eragon. Saphira's talons clicked on the stone as she landed. She crawled over to Eragon and touched him on the arm with her snout.
Are you all right, little one?
I'm fine. But he was not, and she knew it. Walking to the edge of the plateau, Eragon surveyed the burning plains and the aftermath of the battle, for the battle was over. With the death of the twins, the Varden and dwarves regained lost ground and were able to rout the formations of confused soldiers, herding them into the river or chasing them back from whence they came. Though the bulk of their forces remained intact, the Empire had sounded the retreat, no doubt to regroup and prepare for a second attempt to invade Surda. In their wake, they left piles of tangled corpses from both sides of the conflict. Enough men and dwarves to populate an entire city. Thick black smoke roiled off the bodies that had fallen into the peat fires. Now that the fighting had subsided, the hawks and eagles, the crows and ravens, descended like a shroud over the field. Eragon closed his eyes, tears leaking from under the lids. They had won, but he had lost.
Thank you once again to Gerard Doyle. And now for the man of the hour. Please give a rock star welcome to the tireless and amazing Christopher Paolini.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Wow. Well, welcome to the official launch of the third book of the Inheritance Cycle, Brisingr! I can't tell you how happy I am to be here. Although this isn't the end of the series, this is a major step in a very long journey for me that started all the way back in November of 1998 when I first started plotting out Aragon. And in fact, this November is going to mark the 10th year that I've been working on this series. So it's wonderful to be here with you today, to finally have the third book coming out, and to know that all of you are going to get a chance to read it very, very soon. So, thanks for coming! And it's wonderful for me to know that there's such support for the series, and I get to see all of you guys here, and I know some of you are in costume too, which is awfully cool. Because, you know, without people reading the series, I wouldn't be able to continue doing what I love to do, which is telling stories. So I know all of you are probably wondering, what's Brisingr about? Now, I'm going to leave it for you to discover for the most part, but I will say this. Brisingr continues the adventures of Aragon and Saphira as they travel through Alagasia. And, of course, it has lots of battles and villains and romance and swords and dragons, dwarves, elves. All right! Everything a book needs. Everything a book needs. So, why did I choose Brisingr as the title of the book? Well, as some of you may know, Brisingr is actually a word from Old Norse. It means fire, and it's the first magical word that shows up in the series, and it's the first word of magic that Aragon uses. Saves his life, actually. So it has great meaning within the series, and it actually has even greater meaning within this book specifically, which, again, you'll have to find out for yourself why I used that. But writing Brisingr was an amazing experience. It was challenging at times. For example, when I started out, I was having some difficulty getting the words on the page, so I actually stopped writing on my computer, and I went and I wrote a good third of the book by hand using an ink-dip pen on parchment paper. Yeah, I went all the way back to the beginning. And it was really fun. The only trouble with that is my writing is so small that I ended up fitting about 2,000 words on a page. And my mom, who was kind enough to type the pages in for me, she started complaining to me saying, "Yeah, I can't read this. I'm going blind." But again, you know, writing Brisingr was an amazing experience, and there are two people here today who really had an amazing contribution to the series, and I want to introduce them to you. First and foremost is my mom. Mom, come on, stand up! Come on! Sorry. And I have to tell you that without her, Brisingr wouldn't be here today. Because she's the one that kept bringing me food and kept encouraging me when it was midnight and I had a deadline and I kept thinking, you know, I can't finish this in time. And she'd say, yes, you can. So thank you, Mom.